Hey guys, Brett here for Stringjoy. By now you've all probably heard the term IR or impulse response, but in case you haven't, in layman's terms what that is a capture of a speaker at a specific moment in time in a specific room with a specific set of mics. And it negates the need for a loud blaring cabinet in your room or on a stage, and it has a ton of practical uses, so let's see if we can talk about it a little bit today. So in the song you just heard, I used Mesa 2x12 mic'd up with this Warm Audio WA47 Junior and an SM57. And then the impulse response that I used is the exact same thing, a Mesa 2x12 mic'd up with the 57 and then a U47. There's some differences in sound here between the two cabinets, the IR and the actual in-the-room mic. Some small differences, some big differences. Whatever you may be hearing, what I hear is that there's a lot of practical application for an IR in the context of a mix especially. They feel good, they sound good, and there's something to be said for that. So let's talk some more about the practical uses of an impulse response. So what are IRs good for? There's a whole bunch of applications for them. There's the way that I've been using them personally is that I run my big 100 watt or 50 watt tube amps into a reactive load and then use an IR to emulate the cabinet in my DAW so I can record really great guitar sounds in my home without having to have an ISO booth or disturb my little puppy that's sitting next to me right here. The other options are I use them live all the time with my floorboard modelers like a Kemper or an FM3 or a Helix, and I have some cabinets that I really like and I want to use those live, and then I don't have the issue of stage volume with either an amp or with the Helix using monitors. It works out really, really well, and you can send it all to the front of the house and you don't have to worry about stage volume, especially with small bar gigs, small clubs, things like that, where that's going to be an issue, and this is a really practical use for impulse responses. So what doesn't an IR do? An IR is a capture of a speaker, like I said, at a very specific moment in time, and it's never going to fully replicate the feel of a speaker in the room. There is something to be said for that. I mean, being able to walk up to a speaker cabinet when it's loud and it's rock and roll, and you can get that feedback and you can get some of that feel, that squishiness out of the guitar, and that's not going to really happen the same way with an impulse because there isn't volume. There's no literal volume happening. And so there's going to be applications that it's not perfect for. If you are looking for that really specific organic feel in the guitar and just the guitar, that's not going to be where it's best used. Here are a couple of quick examples of an IR and how I use it. I'm going to run my Mesa TC50 into 2 notes Captor X and then emulate a Mesa oversized 4x12. I'll do a couple of different sounds with it, just so you can kind of hear how it sounds. Now, like I said, it's not going to be a perfect representation of a speaker. It's that speaker at that moment in time, and so it's not going to necessarily feel like a real speaker, but in your ears, I think it sounds great, and I think there's a lot of really great sounds to be had. Not just with this one, but there's thousands of IRs, and you can make your own, like I said. In conclusion, I think IRs are an absolutely fantastic, practical way of getting great guitar sounds without having to mic up a cabinet, either in a live context where stage volume is an issue, or, you know, in the context of wanting to try a whole bunch of different sounds, or not being able to mic something up because you live in, you know, a small apartment or something. You can put some headphones on, get some really, really great sounds, and there's a ton of different options out there for using impulse responses. So I think it's something that as guitar players we shouldn't be scared of. It's new technology a little bit, but it's something that really, really sounds great and can be a useful part of your tool bag. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. This is my first video of Stringjoy and I loved doing it. Hopefully you all liked it, and I'll see y'all next time.